I'll be talking about images of beautiful women in early 20th century Japanese prints. I'll be focusing on a favorite image of mine, this work by Tori Kotondo from 1929. Shinhanga creators of the 20s and 30s created a new interpretation of this classic 300-year-old genre of presenting female beauty. Let's take a look at this example from 1929 by Tori Kotondo titled Combing the Hair, Kamisuki. What we first notice is that her naturalistic form completely fills the picture frame and that she's naked, which to us is very sexy. This is quite a contrast to what was considered sexy in the Edo period, as I don't think nudity was considered very erotic in these earlier centuries. What we saw with Catherine's presentation were women wrapped in the most luxurious finery that reflected their exquisite taste. Their hair and makeup were styled to perfection. Their mystique, their unattainability for all but the very wealthy was the luster of their allure. Here, the allure is that we feel like a voyeur as she is having a private interior moment. She's crouching in the bath, combing her hair, and doesn't even really seem to be paying attention to us. She's also shown in quite a challenging pose, and her face is in this complex three-quarter oblique view, which was very difficult to capture in a naturalistic way, especially without using key block outlines. The most outstanding printing feature is that this work lacks any key block outlines, which are almost always black or gray, which we saw in Catherine's examples. Here, the outlines are white and are actually embossed into the print using blind printing or karazuri. The outline is comprised of several deeply embossed lines done with a very flowing, sketchy, yet painterly hand. The craftsmen have done an incredible job of capturing the flow of the artist's brush. The body is given volume only by very soft shades of pink, and the viewer is to assume that the pinkness is in response to the heat of the bath. The background is a perfect contrast, and we see the marks of the printing barn evident. They use the Barin Tsuchizuri technique, which is also another feature we often see in early 20th century Japanese prints. We can see the influence of an earlier print by Ito Shinsui from 1922, which also shows a nude beauty in the bath. You can actually see that work on our website. We have it as part of a larger collection of Japanese beauties on our website right now. Early 20th century Japanese woodblock Shinhanga prints are prized for their very high standards of printing. I feel that color woodblock printing reached a high point, a zenith, at that time that was never reclaimed after World War II. I'd like to leave our viewers with a takeaway. For anyone considering the purchase of a work from this time, a beauty, my recommendation is that you always check for the pink, because almost all the time there was pink applied around the eyes or the cheeks or to the fingers, and that pink is very susceptible to fading. And since so many of these works were sent abroad for export, they were put on the wall and then they suffered fading. So to really experience the art the way the artist intended, I recommend potential collectors to look for early editions of unfaded works. Please take a look at the Egenolf Gallery website for more 20th century beauties. We're going to be posting more in the coming days and months.